All right, welcome to Talking Investing. I'm Tom, and as always, this is not financial advice. Today, I want to talk about Cleanspark, stock ticker CLSK. They have a bunch of news that they put out. They put out their monthly operational report for the month of February, so I want to go through that. In addition to that, they put out their quarterly report for the period ended December 31st, 2022. There's a lot of information in there as well. I've created a lot of charts to analyze all this data, so I want to go through Cleanspark. If you're new to the channel, we talk about Bitcoin and the Bitcoin miners all the time on this channel. So if you have not yet, please remember to subscribe, smash the like button, and hit the notification bell. Also, if you're interested in supporting the channel, you can hit the join button on the YouTube page. It's right next to the subscribe button. We built up a big library of over 50 videos for members only. In addition to that, we have a members-only live stream and a members-only Discord. So I appreciate everybody's support. Let's talk about Cleanspark. And I want to tell you right now, in my personal opinion, I think that Cleanspark is one of the most undervalued Bitcoin mining stocks. So obviously, this is not financial advice, but I'm going to walk you through why I think that. I'm going to start out by going through their monthly operational report for the month of February. Okay, Cleanspark released February 2023 Bitcoin mining update. Company mined 576 Bitcoin in the year's shortest month, hits new efficiency milestone of 30.6 watts per terahash. Bitcoin mined 576. So that's the second most Bitcoin they've ever mined in a month. January of 2023, the previous month, was the most Bitcoin they've ever mined in a month. Now, February is 3 days shorter than January, so that is one of the reasons they mined less. In addition to that, the difficulty level went up several times again in the month of February. And lastly, I think that they're taking a new approach to try to balance their energy to produce the most Bitcoin at the lowest cost possible. So all those things put together resulted in less Bitcoin mined per month, but it was still 20.6 Bitcoin. That is the second best month they've ever had. They had 22.5 Bitcoin per month in January, so very, very close in February. This still puts them in the top 3 or 4 Bitcoin miners as far as production goes on a monthly basis. They're very competitive. They are in that top group. There's about 4 or 5 miners that are pulling away from the rest of the pack. Cleanspark is clearly one of them. However, you will see of those miners, Cleanspark has by far the smallest market cap. Okay, total Bitcoin holdings 100. So they do spend their Bitcoin. They've been doing that for over a year. So that has actually paid off greatly for them versus a lot of the other companies who held their Bitcoin and had to sell at the bottom. Cleanspark has been able to average in and out of Bitcoin at a much, much higher price. So that has helped their growth. Their growth has been spectacular. As a percentage, they've grown more than any other Bitcoin mining company that's publicly traded in North America. They more than tripled their exahash rate, and they're about to quadruple, and they have plans to go on from there. So you see, in order to do that, the next bullet point, total Bitcoin converted for operations and growth in February, 778 Bitcoin. So they did convert 778 Bitcoin. They only hold 100 Bitcoin. This is not a hodl company yet at this time. Current deployment fleet of about 66,900. Latest generation Bitcoin miners with a hash rate of 6.6 exahash. That is actually the same as January. They didn't add any exahash in February. However, they did put out this press release earlier in the month. Cleanspark announced its purchase of 20,000 new latest generation mining machines. So that's going to add 2.44 exahash. So these will show up over the next approximately 90 days. So although in February they did not grow their exahash, they do expect by the end of May to be at 9.0 exahash. So that will still keep them basically in that top elite group of Bitcoin miners. Okay, just a quote from Zach Bradford, the CEO. Our background in energy efficiency gives us a clear advantage in the market as we make incremental improvements to our mining fleet. For example, this month we improved our efficiency by over 3% compared to December 2022 when we last reported these numbers in our quarterly report. That progress, coupled with average wholesale power rates as low as 2 cents per kilowatt hour, has allowed us to increase our profit margin even as production compressed month over month due to February being the shortest month of the year. Months like February are practice runs for the halving, and we intend to continue to test and deploy all hardware and software at our disposal in our bid to be the best prepared miner when halving happens next year. They're shifting their focus a little bit from just the maximum number of Bitcoin that they mine to the most efficient number of Bitcoin that they can mine in order to lower their cost per Bitcoin. Because obviously when the halving occurs, the reward is going to be cut in half, so you're going to want to be managing your costs. Now, depending on the price of Bitcoin will depend on how much they have to watch that number. If Bitcoin skyrockets between now and then that's not going to make as much of a difference. If Bitcoin remains in a tight range, if Bitcoin is anything under, say, $50,000, then it's going to be very, very important at the time of the halving to be very efficient in your Bitcoin mining and to get that cost per Bitcoin to keep that down at a low number. So obviously Cleanspark's background is in energy, so energy efficiency is their thing. and they're basically saying they're shifting gears towards trying to make sure they're more energy efficient. I'm going to show you some numbers, and you're going to see one of the reasons why I think they're making this shift. Okay, so here's Bitcoin mined on a monthly basis. You can see January of 2023 was by far their best month ever. So February of 2023, even though it's a short month, the shortest month of the year, was their second best month ever. Okay, so just to show the progression, and this is really the best chart in my opinion of all the Bitcoin miners. Last quarter, they mined 1,531 Bitcoin. They were on pace to beat that this quarter. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 consecutive quarters that they're going to have growth. However, on the flip side, I think this is a number that they are trying to manage. Now, this comes directly from their financial statements. So this is simply their cash costs divided by the number of Bitcoin mined. This last quarter that just ended, December 31st, 2022, they were back up in that $13,000 per coin area. So I think this is what they're trying to work on. In that quarter, I believe they focused on ramping up and mining as many Bitcoin as they can mine. And now in this quarter, it sounds like they're trying to have a combination of mining the most Bitcoin that they can mine while still managing their energy costs. So I don't think it's going to be as important to them to break their record every single month and every single quarter from this day going forward. I think what's going to be important to them is to lower this cost per coin. So for CleanSpark, in my opinion, it looks like they're targeting Bitcoin $22,000 to $25,000, and that's the formula that will allow them to grow throughout the year. So that would be the number one thing I would be looking for with CleanSpark. If you believe that we are going to revisit some of Bitcoin's lows and get back down to 15,000-ish or maybe even lower, as some people are predicting, then probably CleanSpark is going to have to change their strategy throughout the course of this year. If we can maintain these levels of Bitcoin, then I think CleanSpark can continue to grow. We just did the per coin cost, and this is where these numbers come from. So this is the 3 months ended December 31st, 2022. You can see Bitcoin revenue was $27,746. So that equated to about $18,000 per Bitcoin. And then cost of revenue was $20,416,000. So that equated to about $13,500 per Bitcoin. So that's strictly exactly where this number came from. So I know a lot of these companies in their presentations, they report how much they expect their cost per Bitcoin to be, but I like to actually go to the financial statements and find out what actually happened in reality, because there's a lot of variables that can change, you know, their calculation from a perfect world scenario, if you will. But even in this scenario where Bitcoin had hit rock bottom, this was the 3 months where Bitcoin averaged the lowest cost in the last several years. They still did generate gross profit in this scenario. So obviously in the first quarter, we've had a jump up in the neighborhood of about $5,000 on the average. So that should really probably double their profit per coin in this coming quarter. So that is allowing them to continue their growth, to pay for their operations, and they are going through dilution. So there is no question they will continue to issue stock and dilute, but I want to show you a chart. This is why I believe their stock is undervalued. People are overestimating the amount of dilution that's taken place, and their stock is devalued greatly. So if I look at CleanSpark's historic market cap, so this is their total market cap, regardless of how many shares they have. You'll see back in March of 2022, this was a $530 billion company at that time from a market cap standpoint. Now, since then, CleanSpark's about 3 times the size that they were in exahash. So if we go back and revisit where they're at right now, as of the middle of the trading day today, they're at 189 million. That is much less than half the market cap, even though they have triple the exahash that they had at that time. At December 31st, 2022, this company had a book value of $427 million. So they are way less than half of just their book value. So again, a lot of times companies get discounted when they go through dilution, but it does not make sense to discount the company significantly more than the dilution that occurred. In addition to that, all of their dilution has been accretive, so that really should not decrease the market cap at all, in my opinion, if it's quality dilution and it's accretive to their business model. But instead, this company continues to sink and sink and sink in both stock price and market cap. So those are the reasons that I believe this is currently underpriced. Obviously, that is my personal opinion, and that is not financial advice. They've drastically increased their infrastructure, they've drastically increased production, and they continue to become a smaller and smaller market cap company. They've also fallen behind their peers over the last several months. You're going to see a lot of these companies are up over 100%. Some of these companies are up over 200%. Core Scientific's up over 300, almost 400%. Way down here in third to last place is CleanSpark. They're only up 25%. Their peers are averaging 4 times that. This is another visual way that I think you can see this company has been lagging behind over the last 2 months from a stock price standpoint. Okay, so if I go to their chart, this is their chart on the 1-day time frame. I'm not even going to go back to their all-time highs or any of those things. I just want to go back to August of 2022. August of 2022 was the last time Bitcoin traded at $25,000. So for CleanSpark, if we look at where they are right now, and now Bitcoin has pulled back a little bit, we're more in the $22,000 range, but if we can get back to that $25,000, which could happen at any day now, CleanSpark would have to go up 186% just to get even to where it was the last time Bitcoin was at $25,000. And again, they're a much bigger, healthier, stronger company than they were. They do have a more aggressive growth plan than most of the rest of the Bitcoin miners. They are counting on Bitcoin staying at some healthy level, I'm going to say above $22,000. Versus a lot of the other Bitcoin miners, which are being a little bit more conservative than that and or have a healthier balance sheet. Now, CleanSpark has almost no debt at all, so their balance sheet is healthy, but it is thinner than some of their competitors. So that is a factor when looking at market cap. I see no reason why CleanSpark would be trading at less today than it was the last time Bitcoin was at $25,000. I think it's a much more valuable company. So not only is its stock price less, but remember, its market cap is significantly less, and that's the most important thing. Now, just to take a look, conversely, if Bitcoin were not to remain healthy and turn around, CleanSpark is 27% off of their lows from December. So having said that, obviously I don't know the future, so please be careful. This is not financial advice, and you can see CleanSpark and all the Bitcoin miners are extremely volatile. They're also a leverage play on Bitcoin, which itself is extremely volatile, so trade carefully. That's what I got for you on CleanSpark. So thanks again, and we'll see you in the next video.